Okay. All right. Hey, we just want to greet you today, and we're going to talk with you about something that's very significant. We're going to talk about the Ark Wilderness Leadership and Life Skill Camp. We're holding our first one this year. It's going to begin on June the 9th, and it's going to go to June the 16th. And we're looking for 20 young men between the age of 15 and 19 to come here to North Arkansas up in the Ozark, and we're going to be carrying them through some training. And I'm very blessed to have a great friend here, J.C. Morrison, and I'm going to let him share some things out of his heart, and we'll give you some details about this camp. But what I want you to do is to pray about, do you know a young man that is a candidate? Now, what we're looking for is not troubled adolescents. We're looking for young men that have support groups, family, ministry leaders, church body, so that we can bring them here, help them with some life skill, teach them some leadership skills, and send them back out into this disrupted culture so they can begin to disciple their peers. And so we need you to start praying about it. You might be asking this question: how much is the camp? It's $1,000 for the 7 days, but 500 of it is being scholarshiped. And so we need you to step up and help us with that. JC, share with us what's in your heart. So excited about the fact we get to work together and the vision that you and your wife, Jerry, are carrying about this camp. So share with the people.
Well, first of all, I want to just thank Clay for the opportunity to do this. This has been a vision of mine to establish a leadership camp since my wife and I were married or before. And I just a heart to see young men empowered to reach their community and to take the kingdom to right where they live. And I've been working in youth camps and vacation Bible schools since I was 12 years old. I traveled all over Wyoming with an organization that did VBSs and backcountry churches and community halls, and then we would have a wilderness camp. It was literally a wilderness camp where we slept in army tents. We were 30 miles away from the nearest settlement, and no phones. The only electricity was by generator, and we had bears going through our cabin, our tents, digging for our kids' candy. So it was wilderness, but camp has meant so much to me. I was saved at a Nazarene church camp when I was 8 years old, at a Boy Scout camp up in the mountains above Lander, Wyoming. I submitted to the Lordship of Christ at a youth camp, and I met my wife when I was actually teaching at a youth camp. She was a counselor. She wasn't a camper. And so camp just means so much to me. And there's just something about a camp where the young men and people can come and just spend 7 days just focusing on God and their relationship and walking with God in that arena. And so our camp was wanting to focus in on leadership. We're going to have Clay teach a class on leadership and business. This man has started more businesses than most of us have worked for, and been a part of leadership and what he's got to impart on these young men. Just a tremendous thing. We've got people coming up that are going to talk about God and government. I've titled that class, America, a case study in how to disciple a nation. And so we've got so many things going. The mission statement that we've developed is to develop and empower capable young men with practical life skills to bring the kingdom to right where they live. And we're modeling that after 2 Timothy 2:2, that says, teach people the sayings that I've taught you, Timothy. Teach capable, faithful young men that can teach other men to further the kingdom into this world. Amen. And some of the things we want to talk about is God's favorite subject. What's God's favorite subject? What subject does God start in Genesis chapter 1 and ends in Revelation chapter 22? And that is king's domain, or the kingdom. The kingdom is God's very favorite subject. He's been talking about it. That's what he set humanity on this earth, was to establish his domain, his dominion and kingdom on this planet. And Jesus came to restore that vision. The devil stole it from us, or we gave it to the devil. And Jesus came to restore that dominion to us, and so we could rule and reign with him on this earth. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how these young men need vision.
Yes.
That this proverb says that where there's no vision, the people are destroyed.
Yeah.
In that original language, they cast off restraint and then run to their destruction. And so we want to give these young men a prophetic destiny and vision of who they were created to be as a human being, as a man, as a human. God created mankind to have dominion on this earth, but also we want to talk about their identity, who God created them specifically to do. Talk about some of their giftings. We talked about redemptive giftings on your heart. So those are some of the things that we're wanting to cover. We also want to just cover that we want to fill these young men with hope.
Yeah.
Peter tells us to be ready to give an apologetic or an answer for the hope that lies within us. And so we want to fill them with hopefulness, and in a dark world that has no hope.
Yeah.
People that walk in hope will be a beacon, and people will be drawn to the people that have hope. Yeah. And so we want to share with these young men that there is hope. They have vision. They have a purpose to change the world that they live in. And so those are some of the things. We also want to talk. Clay's going to talk about leadership, but we also want to talk about how to lead when you're not in charge. Most of these young men aren't going to be the leaders, the head leader of a ministry right now, or in their business or whatever. So they're going to need to learn how to be aligned with those that are above them. Yeah. And that's one of those. Timothy, or Paul tells Timothy, flee youthful desires, and I think one of them is that we want to be in charge right now, right. and it's mine, and so we just want to talk to them about how to be in alignment with their eldership, their leadership, and how they can sell out to the vision of the house. Yeah. and how they can be a leader and bring the kingdom in that when you don't have to be in charge to do that.
Amen. Amen.
And then, of course, we want to do practical life skills. We want to teach them carpentry, how to read a tape measure, just some basic things like that. We're going to have a class on basic mechanic skills, some basic plumbing skills. Right. We're even going to mess around with some chainsaws, and we're going to mess around with some guns and knives. We're going to do some things like that to bring some practical life skills. We need capable young men, capable that when the road gets tough, they're tough enough to handle the tough road.
Yep. Step up into it. Yep.
And then we're gonna have some sessions. Anybody that's been around Clay at all knows that this man just walks in the prophetic, and just prophetic is just who he is. And so we're gonna have a class. We're gonna be talking about how to hear from God. Turn your radio on and hear from God. And then I'm excited that the Friday night, we're going to have a commissioning time. We're going to bring some prophets in, and we're going to lay hands on these young men and impart to them. But our goal is to make sure that every young man leaves with a prophetic word that has been spoken over them to help, Paul tells Timothy, once again, war with the prophetic words that have been spoken over you. So when you go out as a good soldier, you have ammunition in your gun to war with.
That's right.
So those are just some of the things that we're wanting to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what else.
Yeah, let me, and we're also going to teach them not just how to war with the prophetic, but we're going to teach them how to properly respond to a personal prophetic word. You know, you can improperly respond and get yourself in trouble, but when you properly respond, then God will begin to unravel it and he will begin to manifest it. You know, we're going to have talk about government. We're going to talk about God and the Constitution. We want to equip these young men to go out and be game changers. We want to equip them. Everything we're going to do is going to be Christ-centered. We're going to equip them to where they will become his story makers, not just history makers, his story makers. And it's going to be a great time. We've got a lot of people working with us that are going to be a part of this, going to come and help us with the training of it. We got a beautiful location up here, Blue Cloud Resort, that we have rented. We're eventually on the 353 acres of land that we've purchased in North Arkansas. We're going to be building this camp, and so we can bring the young men. We want to do multiple camps every year. We don't want to. This year we're going to pull off one 7-day camp, and but after this we want to increase that. We want to bring in. Eventually, I've got a family out of Alaska that want to come down. They want to see us do one eventually for young women. And I think that will work in the right setting and everything. But right now, we just want to get this kicked off. Maybe you're watching this and you know someone, or maybe you're watching this and you want to sow a seed into this camp. It's going to take us about $400,000 to $450,000 that we don't have to build this camp. We've got a beautiful piece of land that we're going to go in and develop. It's going to be quite, it's going to be rugged. It's going to be in the wilderness. This is JC and Jerry's thing, coming from Oklahoma, Wyoming, and other places. They know how to do that. And they're the ones going to be sleeping in a hollow log. No, not really. But, we're going to have it safe. We're going to have it, where the young men are comfortable. We're going to have great food that's served there. We got everything, but we need the young men and we need your support. And I want to just end with this. As I said, the cost of the camp's $1,000, but my friend Dutch Sheet stepped up last December and he said for this first camp, he's going to pay $500. His ministry is going to pay $500 per young man to scholarship them in that. You know someone out there that needs to come here and be a part of this. We want to impact their life. I love what JC brought up. It's kind of one of my strengths is how to lead from the middle of the pack. You can take and be working with a leader and turn the whole thing if you know how to. Have you ever thought about that? There are ways to do it. My dad taught me this skill set many, many years ago, and we want to help these young men do it. They can go in and change companies. They can get promotions. They can be a leader without even having the supervisor spot. I've seen it all my life and helped me and acquire this. And we're just, JC, I want to thank you. We've got others, Robin and Tracy Powell, that is part of this team that God is putting together here. We're going to have some good worship. We're going to have some Bible study. We're going to, like I say, basic automotive skills, basic carpentry skills, basic plumbing, electrical, things like that. Just to, life is expensive. And when you can do some of this yourself, you can cut your expense. But not only that, it becomes a resource of evangelism. I love when we get called. I don't do as much as I used to, but we used to get called. We'd go work on somebody's house, do some plumbing, do something with that, end up sharing the gospel and leaving the Lord and watch God work in their life just by showing up. So we wanted to make this video. We wanted to get in your heart. We need to hear from you. If you want to write me, Clay Nash at claynash.org or team, TEAM, at claynash.org. You can email either one of those. We need to know. We've got papers that need to be filled out. This camp is going to be run safely. We're going to have it properly supervised. We're going to have everything in place. We're going to look after these young men. But we're going to impart things to them by the Spirit of the Lord that's going to cause them to become game changers. And we need some game changers out in this disruptive culture right now. We need it like never before. And I'm so excited. I'm humbled by what God is doing, by the people that he's bringing around Susan and I'm a visionary, and I can cast the vision. I can come up with a vision, and I just had someone prophesy over me. You're never lacking in vision. Well, that's me. But see, you can't do this if you don't have the right people. And we have the right people forming around us. People moving from Mississippi, people that God had already moved to this area, was here before we got here. And we're just seeing God do some great things. So if you have some questions, let me even share this. I'm willing, and I know JC is too. I hadn't asked him that. But if you've really got some question, we'll make a time to get on the phone with you. We're relational. These young men that's going to come in, we're going to build relationship. We even eventually will have level 2 of this camp. They'll be coming back for a refresher course, or however you want to say it. But we're going to get in their life, and we're going to equip them to make a difference. But we've got to partner with you. We need you to pray and ask God and get a young man that's functional. It's got the hand of God on him, that needs to come and just get some life skills and leadership skills. And in doing that, we can impact this nation. We can impact your area. Maybe you're seeing this video and you're in Alaska. Hey, we can get the young man here. We can carry him through this camp. But wherever you're at, whoever these young men are, they'll go back and they're going to carry something back to impact the culture they're in, impact the people around them, their peers. They're going to become a game-changing agent to their peers to lead them out of disruptive culture and into the kingdom. JC, close us out with what you've got in your heart.
The other thing I wanted to mention before we close is that we're going to have fun as well. We've got some things. We've got fishing going on. We got some beautiful hiking. We're talking about taking an afternoon and going to Branson and doing some zip lining or downhill roller coastering. It's not just going to be in classes. This is going to be a fun camp for the young men that want to come. We want to make help these young men experience the full potential that God has put in them, and we want to make sure that they're aligned with you. We want to find young men that have a support structure, because we know that they need to be in a support structure to keep this vision and keep the fire and destiny going. And there is a cry in this land to see. There is a war going on right now, an attack, a battle against masculinity and femininity in this country. I don't know very much about the femininity. That's why I married a woman, because she's the feminine part of me. I know about the masculine part. And so my heart has been to take young men, teach them masculinity and what true masculinity looks like in the kingdom. Yeah. You don't have to be macho. You don't have to be buffed. But there are some things about being a masculine man that's out there. And we want to do that and help plug them in so that they can fulfill their God-given purpose and destiny on this earth, to bring the God's favorite subject, the kingdom, on this earth, and his will to be done on this earth as it is in heaven. And so we're just, that's my heart. I know that's Clay's heart. We want to see, we just want to empower young men to be everything that God has created them to be. And I don't know of a better short-term way of doing that than at youth camp, at a wilderness camp where they're challenged for 7 straight days of, and be able to sit at a place where the presence of God is at, and they just bask in that, and just give them some time away just to focus in on their relationship with the Lord and what's going on in their life with God, and let God speak into them.
And one thing that we'll teach some on, but we're going to demonstrate it greater is honor. They will see honor given to them, but they'll also learn how to honor those around them, because honor is a big thing. It's not just something we do; it's who we are. And I was raised by a father who taught me to honor those older than me. And I had a lawyer one time. He's with the Lord now, Mr. John Palmer. And I was always calling Mr. Palmer, and he said, "Call me John." And after using him, becoming friend, he was a strong Christian. He said to me one day, he said, "Clay, quit calling me Mr. Palmer. Why don't you call me John?" And this is how I answered it. I said, "As long as my dad's not in the state of Tennessee, nor thinking about coming to Tennessee, I'll call you John." But I said, if he's even thinking about driving here, I can't do it, because I was raised to show honor. And I don't feel bound up or legalistic with it, but there's an honor that needs to return to this nation, and we're going to demonstrate. This man and his family, others around me, have shown such honor. I'm a person of honor, and so we're going to walk this out and demonstrate it. So thank you for joining us today. We had a great sunrise service this morning, and we're excited to record this. Get in your life, you get it out there. It'll be on my YouTube channel. You'll be able to see it. But we want to impact them, but we need you to partner with us. And maybe you want to help scholarship some. There's a lot of ways you can communicate to us. Remember the email, Clay Nash at claynash.org, or TEAM, team at claynash.org, and write us. We'll set up a time if you want to talk by phone. We can do that. We're willing to do that. God bless you. Thank you for watching this. Partner with us. Help us change America, one young man at a time.